Reese James in the middle of the park was unbelievable.
Honestly, I think that was one of his best performances
I think it's the best
seen in a
performance
Chelsea shirt.
For me, it's the best.
Yeah.
Where do you play Reese James?
It's a good question, Liv, and it's a tough one to answer. It's very difficult when you're a player and combative as he is in that middle of the park. You are going to get your challenges wrong every now and then. You are.
Even when we was at 1-1, we pegged back. I thought, there's no reason we can't go and get a second here and go 2-1 up. So that's a massive credit to the team and the manager for allowing us to even think in that way against the best team in the league, in the country.
The amount of times he got that ball, bowled out looking for Pedro Neto every single time. He could be a real catalyst for setting those up. His all-round game has improved dramatically.
Estevao, Palmer in the sun at Bournemouth, seaside, birds are chirping. He was standing on the sideline and the referee said, and he's smiling.
Me?
And I'm like, yeah, just go, man.
Hello and welcome to Inside Chelsea, the show for Chelsea fans by Chelsea fans. This show is brought to you by talkSPORT Bet. I'm Olivia Buzaglo and I'm joined by former Chelsea defender Jason Cundy and broadcaster and lifelong Chelsea fan Matisse. Ooh, it's the end of a big week. We were sat here last episode saying, we're really going to see what Chelsea are made of this week. We'll get on to, Barcelona in a second. But first, obviously that 1-1 draw with Arsenal came on Sunday. Jace, just first of all, what did you make of the performance, the result? Because I personally thought it was absolutely outstanding.
Honestly, I was so proud when I left the ground. It was obviously made that much harder because of the red card. And when you go down 10 men against a side like Arsenal, you fear the worst.
Yeah.
Everyone feared the worst. I thought we were outstanding. Honestly, Reese James in the middle of the park was unbelievable. He was doing the job of Caicedo. Yeah. The way that he dominated that midfield, Enzo was excellent. We had to put in, everyone had to be a minimum 8 out of 10. And we were outstanding. I come away disappointed that we didn't go on to win the game, actually. 11 v 11, we'll never know. But my gosh, you can only imagine what it might have looked like. But I thought we were outstanding, honestly. On the end of a big week. Arsenal are a bit blunt. Arsenal are a good side. But against Manchester City, I think Man City probably find a way to beat us. Yeah. The way that they can pass and move that ball and break us down. Arsenal, no sign of breaking us down at all. I thought we were stellar.
Yeah, I think the biggest compliment we could probably give to that Chelsea side is that if you walked in on the 50th minute or 60th minute, you would never know that Chelsea were down to 10 men. It was some performance.
No, the energy that they exerted was ridiculous. I thought going into a game like that with the history of the fixture and the poor results previously, and sometimes we've been a bit too soft, we were nothing like that. We were so aggressive, maybe too aggressive, some would say, but I think that's how you have to deal with Arsenal. I think when you know Arsenal are notoriously a very physical team, very strong in the air, you have to compete by any means possible. So I thought that was really good to see. And like you said, Reese James, honestly, I think that was one of his best performances I've seen in a Chelsea shirt.
For me, it's the best.
Ever.
Honestly, I don't think it's too far off. I cannot describe, honestly, I don't have the words to say what I want to say about Reese James and what I watched. That is a complete midfielder's performance. There's nothing that he didn't do. Even with the corner, he's the one that's taken it. It's an incredible delivery. I'm watching this guy carry the ball past players, just dribbling, just ball carrying. We know the tackling, we know the strength, the shoulder barging, the passing, switching both feet. Honestly, world class. Elite.
I agree with that. Yeah, some of the balls when he brings it down and composes himself, and the way he just faded those balls out to that left hand side, he was just one man. Not one man show, but that middle of the park, he had to step up.
Yeah.
Because when you're in there and you're missing Caicedo, I've got the armband. I'm going to lead this club by example, and wow, just outstanding.
This is a right back we're talking about.
Yeah.
This is I sat here on the show on talkSPORT earlier saying, I saw combined 11s with Reese James not in it. He is a world-class right back. And to do that, to shine in a world in which everyone was talking about Moises Caicedo versus Declan Rice in that midfield. And I don't think Declan Rice had a poor game. I actually thought he played all right. I thought Caicedo up until the red card was pretty good as well. But to dominate the midfield like that, when you're not even and I know we've seen glimpses of it. I know we saw it at Wigan as well. He was brilliant. He was brilliant in midfield for Wigan. Yeah. But to do that against the team comfortably top of the league, and how much the game was going to be won or lost in midfield
with 10 men.
With 10 men. without the ball.
Yeah.
And do you know what? It was a captain's performance as well.
Yeah.
How much he's matured, Jace. Not just as a player, but as a captain, I think, and a leader.
That shone through for me. The fact that we were down to 10 and he put in the sort of performance that I remember JT doing. You know, backs against the wall, we're up against it here, we're going to fight. But it wasn't just the players bouncing off, him coming out the midfield with the ball. It was everything. Matisse right. It's the passing. It's the delivery of the passes, the accuracy of the passes. He was, that was, I mean...
I actually thought he'd win us the game. I actually thought he was going to physically pick up the ball and take it all the way to the goal and just score a goal at one point. I thought that this is why I felt like we could win the game, because of players like him. The performance was so incredible, and it was like Chelsea, we're proud of the performance, we're proud of the shift that they put in and the concentration levels, but we're also disappointed with the result, because I think not only with 11 men we could have won, I think even with 10 men we could have won, because the goal that we concede is a goal we could have easily avoided, I think, as well.
Yeah, it was frustrating because the defence had actually, you know, I mean, everyone, like you say, everyone had to be an 8 out of 10 minimum. Everyone was an 8 out of 10 minimum. I thought Trevor Chalobah was unbelievable. I thought Wesley Fofana was brilliant as well. Just a little switch off from maybe Wes letting Marino sort of just go beyond him. But it was a goal, like Matisse says, that we defended crosses brilliantly the whole game.
We did.
And that one was just the one that...
Yeah, I mean, as a winger, when you look at what Saka's done, it's just getting the ball in the box somehow.
He's brilliant, by the way.
It's a brilliant ball in. It really is. And look, it's one of those moments that he gets on the end of it. Something could have happened similar at the end of the game, by the way, when Gyökeres comes flying in. So, you know, over the course of the 90 minutes, I thought we were the better side, even down at 10. But a draw was probably a fair result.
Yeah, I mean, just back to Reese James, because we haven't spoken enough about Reese James. He won 100% of his ground duels. That was 6 out of 6. He won 5 out of 6 aerial duels. He won 4 fouls, which led to 2 yellow cards, 2 chances created, 1 assist. He wasn't dribbled past. He didn't commit a foul. It was, like you say, I don't know where his best position is now. Where's Reese James' best position?
As long as he's on the pitch.
No,
but he's always on the pitch now.
Right, so if we're playing, you know, in a Champions League final tomorrow, where do you play Reese James?
It's a good question, Liv, and it's a tough one to answer.
And you don't have an answer,
because right now, it's a tough one to answer. With Caicedo and him in there, that are 2 brutes right in there. You're not getting through that. You're not getting around that. Depends who you're playing, right? In the final, I suppose, in some ways. No, I love Reese James at right back personally, but when he puts in that performance, you almost have to play in midfield.
Because you want him on the ball.
Because you get so much more out of it. Right back, you see the pitch from a very different angle at right back. And Reese is brilliant, but because he inverts more often than not, on the left side we see Cucurella, he then becomes a back 3. Yeah. So we lose a little bit of what we saw yesterday.
I mean, you both said right back last week, so as one performance, a monstrous performance, albeit, you know, has that changed your mind?
That is the kind of performance against that level of team. Yeah. With Rice in there, Zubimendi, Eze, who didn't do anything in that game. That's the type of performance that does make you change your mind, because I think Maresca's seen this a long time ago. He said Reece can play in midfield. He was speaking to Reece privately about that. I've always wanted to see him at right back purely because I just thought physically the midfield is very taxing. But his fitness is reaching to a point now where he's been fit for so long that he can start to do these, you know, mazy runs through midfield and whatnot. And the thing is with this, I think it's just purely dependent on everyone around him. Is Santos developing in the way that we want him to play next to Caicedo? Is Gusto in form? Is Lavia fit? But now, you don't have to worry about Lavia's fitness as much when Reece is a genuine centre midfield option like he is now. And like you said, when you play midfield, the options are endless. As long as you're scanning and you're able to be aware and not be dispossessed and be caught out, you can literally pass in any direction, forward, you just have, there's no limits.
Is this the most mobile, most agile we've ever seen him? Because I mean, especially over the last couple of years, that performance, his movement, his ability on the ball, he was just moving freely, he was sprinting, he was doing everything. It just looks...
Yeah, I think there also might be a little bit of him now trusting his body. Because when you have injuries, and and I've had plenty throughout my career, it takes time just to trust your body again. I think we're now looking at Reece, mentally, he is completely free of any fear of the body collapsing, going down. Because I think we all had real concerns about what Reece's future might look like after he had that hamstring operation. Is he going to get through? Is he going to come back anywhere near the player? You know, these questions we didn't know the answers to. We know the answers now. So I think we're seeing that. Plus he's playing every week, he can. Yeah. He's fit. So I think this is probably the best version we've seen of Reese right here, right now.
I feel like he's gone past the best right back debates. We know he's the best right back.
We're talking best midfielder now.
I think genuinely, and I'm not even just saying this. You need to talk about someone like him in terms of best footballer. Like, listen, I'm not saying Reese James is the best footballer in the world, but he's got to be up there in those conversations when he hasn't got a weakness to his game.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's the conversation I think has to move to now. Obviously, right back is a big position in the modern game, going forward, inverting now, very a lot of tactical instruction and option there. But midfield is, for me, always going to be the position, you know. And I think for me, there is no limits to his game. Shooting, you know, free kicks, corners. Now we've seen the guy is one of the best footballers in the league.
Yep.
Bar none.
Agree with that.
Yeah.
Agree with that. And now he's fit and staying strong. He can only get better.
Yeah, it's an exciting time, and I think everyone's, you know, happy for Reese James
also,
because we've seen
England as well. Because if you're Thomas Tuchel and you're looking at that, it looks like Thomas wants to play him at right back, and I get that because he knows what he can do.
Yeah.
But when you see that level of performance, if you do need to change something, maybe there is an injury, or we go down to 10 men, or something happens in the World Cup, that performance there is only going to put him in good stead.
Him next to Rice.
Yeah, him next to Rice at the World Cup.
Maybe. Ooh.
I could see it. I'm not going to lie. I think I don't know where I stand on this, like as in Reese James at right back or Reese James at centre mid, because that performance has changed it. That performance,
now
like you
I
said,
just need him on the pitch and that's it.
Yeah.
I don't mind where he's playing anymore.
Yeah.
He can play up front if he wants.
Yeah, he can play anywhere as long as Reese James is on the pitch. Obviously, the game was made significantly harder by the Caicedo red card. Just immediate thoughts on that, Jace. The only frustrating thing, Enzo Maresca did come out after the game and mentioned the Bentancur one against Spurs before the international break. Very similar fouls. One was looked at by VAR, given a yellow. One was looked at and VAR changed to a red. Where do you stand? What do you
When
think?
I first saw it, I thought it was a yellow. The more I looked at it, it would then become orange. And you look at it again, and it becomes a red. I get it. I've got no complaints.
You just all three cards, one imaginary and a yellow and a red. So basically, we don't know.
I don't think you can say they got that wrong.
Yeah.
I understand what Maresca's saying, because that Bentancur one for me, very similar.
The same foul.
It almost is the same foul. Yeah. So I get it and understand it. Moyes, he's got that in his game. It's very difficult when you're a player and combative as he is in that middle of the park. You are going to get your challenges wrong every now and then. You are. And I sometimes watch games and I'm thinking, how have you got away with not getting the yellow yet? So he does make a lot of fouls because he's that combative midfielder. But this one didn't get away with.
He was up for it though from minute one, and we have been sat here. Maybe too much, but we have been sat here, Jace, not criticising, but saying, you know, we need to be a little more. Yeah. We need to have a little bit more. We're a little bit too soft at times. Yeah. We need that from players, and I liked that aggression. I liked that from him, from Cucurella. Yes, okay, maybe it might have gone a little bit too far in that tackle, but I don't mind it.
No, I don't. Personally, I had no problem with it. Obviously, yeah, it did cost us in the end, maybe being down to 10 men. But he's won us far too many points over the last year and a half, 2 years for me to be overly concerned. It's more that he does miss the next 3 games, but that's an opportunity for Andre Santos, who was great against Burnley and coming on against Barca, to step up. I don't have massive concerns about that. It was a red card, I'll be honest. I think it's just you need to be consistent, because the Bentancur was a red card as well. I think when you go studs and it's on the ankle, it is basically you're going to injure the player. Highly likely you will. So we kind of have to take that. But yeah, it's a big shame, because I think before the red card he was really good, really good.
Gets the rest though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only...
There is a silver line.
Yeah. Every cloud is that, he
and
now
he'll play
gets
the Champions League against Atalanta, right?
And then the League Cup, he'll play in the League Cup.
Maybe Cardiff. So, you know, he's still going to play, just the Premier League we have to get by.
What did you think when he was rolling around her?
I knew he was going to get sent off as soon as I
saw him. Do you reckon he did that on purpose?
He knew he was getting sent off, and he knew it was going to be
I was worried for him, because he's buying time.
It was buying time, it was play acting, and you could see as soon as he was standing on the sideline and the referee said, and he's smiling.
Me?
And I'm like, yeah, just go, man. Early shower, you know what you've done.
Yeah. I mean, to lose any player, right, against Arsenal, against the team top of the league, is always going to be tough. But to lose Moises Caicedo when he has been as brilliant as he has been for us, not even just this season, like we say, for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
it just made our job. I mean, fair play to the boys because they came through and they actually put in a performance. But when you lose a player like him, you don't just lose a player, you lose so much, don't you?
You do. And if you ask me what's the one player on the pitch you would not want to lose, I'd have said in this game would be Moises Caicedo. Yeah. But I think what that does, actually, I think when we really reflect on this in a couple of weeks' time, I think this performance, I think that will show these younger players what we are capable of.
Well, Reese James said it was a statement. He said it was a statement.
I genuinely feel there's something like that. We still have the youngest ever Premier League squad, ever, in Premier League history. And I think when you look at that, if you squint, you can feel, I can see what this team might look like in 18 months.
Yeah.
It's still developing. We're still young, still naive. The amount of red cards tell you how inexperienced and naive we are at times, right? Eradicate that from our game. These players will get better. There'll be more belief. That was the sort of performance you can go, I'm so proud of, but what it might look like in 2 years.
It's definitely a statement internally. Even when Palmer's out and that rest of that attack have to step up, have to start taking more responsibility, and we've been able to say we actually can play without Palmer. Obviously, we'll be better with Palmer, we'll be better with Caicedo, but the rest of them to regroup and to actually put in a performance without knowingly their best player at the current point is massive for them. I think internally they're going to have so much more belief, so much more confidence that they should be taken into the future games. It's not a statement result for the title race. That will actually be more Newcastle's away and Everton's at home in December. Those will be statements in Chelsea circles because we know exactly what December is. But for that group, that's a statement performance for sure.
It is. And I mean, I know we spoke on the last episode about, what would happen if we did lose Moises Caicedo long term through an injury or whatever, and obviously touch wood that doesn't happen. But to lose him for 3 games, Leeds away, and I look at Leeds away, Bournemouth away, and Everton at home. Everton at home, I'm okay with. I don't mind that as much. Leeds away on Wednesday, that's the one that I just feel like it's going to be physical, it's going to be aggressive. You know exactly what Leeds are going to do. This is a big game. This is a historical game. This is a historical rivalry, and to have him missing, I just think, especially if Reese can't play, which Enzo Maresca's pretty much already confirmed he's not going to, feel like it may be...
Yeah, but we've seen what Andre Santos can do. We saw that against Burnley. He was best player on the pitch. Opportunity knocks. And when you're a club like Chelsea and we spent as much money as we have, no one's going to have any sympathy for us. We have to have built a squad that can deal with these, and there is a minor irritation. It's not like he's out for 6 weeks. Yeah. He's out for 3 games. Yep. Right, what have you got? Andre Santos, step up, deliver. Now's your chance. That's what opportunity knocks, and Andre Santos, for me, has shown that he's more than capable.
And Enzo Fernandez was very, very physical in that Arsenal game.
I think we all know what you're referring to in terms of the clip that everyone sees. He's the sort of player that, you absolutely love if he plays for you. Housery is the perfect way to describe it, but you absolutely hate if he's playing on the opposite side.
Yes. So, in terms of physicality, if those two can bring those energy levels that we've seen in recent weeks, I mean, Barcelona, he was brilliant as well. Yeah. Then I know it's not Caicedo, it's not James, which we look to more in terms of tackling and intercepting. But Santos' tackling and intercepting was brilliant against Burnley as well. So really we should be able to compete in there and stand up for sure with those two.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be interesting to see how we do cope without Moises Caicedo. Just quickly on another refereeing decision, Hincapié elbowed Chalobah in the face. I mean, he did catch him. You could see by the lump on Chalobah's cheek. But yellow card, the right outcome.
It's fine. Yeah, it happens. Elbows happen.
When you're jumping.
There was no deliberate movement. It's just a clash. Happens in pretty much every single game. So it's not red.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, not a red card.
We have spoken a lot on this podcast about Enzo Maresca, and we've spoken a lot about how he's handled Reese James and what he's doing with Estevao, and I think he's learned a lot. Jace, would you agree? From the Man United and the Brighton games, when we went a man down, and he's even come out and criticised his own decisions in those games. But when you go down to 10 men against Arsenal, and the way that he responded, the decisions he made in game, it feels like we've come a long way from those 2 games, and he's learned a lot, and he deserves a lot of credit for how Chelsea got through that game against Arsenal.
Totally agree with you, Liv. The sending off against Manchester United, he got completely flummoxed by it.
Panic, wasn't it?
Because it was so early in the game. And you're not just you're making a substitution because you've now got to replace a goalkeeper. Yeah. So it's slightly different. What I felt he done, I felt he had a little look at it, because when Moises got sent off, he left it until half-time. He didn't make any rash decisions. And actually, I think when he had a good look at it, it looked all right. I thought we ended that first half really well. Yeah. He dropped Enzo slightly deeper, playing alongside Reese. So he had a good look at it, see what it feels like. So he didn't make any rash decision. Of course, he did at half-time. Eventually, you've got to bring legs on because you are, simply by the nature of the game down to 10 men, you have to raise the energy levels. But I agree with you. I thought his decision-making and how he didn't rush into anything, make a decision there and then.
Yeah, big learning curve. I think he did admit that he'd made mistakes previously, so I was expecting him to be different this time, if it happened. And I thought he was brilliant because when you get a red card that early with 45 minutes left, and it's a game that we...
So 60?
Yeah.
60 left.
Yeah, 60 left. And we have to win. In terms of the context of trying to go for a title, if that's what we're aiming for, we have to win that game. And he knows that, the players know that. Just keeping that threat and keeping Arsenal humble a little bit and to say, you know, we're not going to park the bus. We're not going to let you sit in our half and play off from the halfway line. We're going to give you something to think about going the other way. Going to, you know, have pace. And we were brilliant. We still had the intention to score and to... Even when we was at 1-1, we pegged back. I thought, there's no reason we can't go and get a second here and go 2-1 up. Yeah. So that's a massive credit to the team and the manager for allowing us to even think in that way against the best team in the league, in the country.
It's been a lot of the big games now. You know, I feel like when I look back on the season so far, it's been the other games, maybe Man United aside, it's been like the lesser games that you've gone a bit like. But in the big games, there is something about Enzo Maresca and just getting it spot on, Jay. So he's yet to really, I mean, that Man United game aside, we know the decisions he made in that one, but every other big game this season, he just seems to get it bang on every time.
He does, and he's still learning. We've said this on the podcast. He's still very much in the infancy of his managerial career. It's only his first time, second season he's had back to back with the same club. It's the games against the Brightons at home, the Sunderland's at home.
Yeah.
They're the ones that you see good teams skittle away. Come on, these 3 points. The big games, you always have to raise yourself. We do as fans. You know, they feel different when you go to a game and we're up against Arsenal, Spurs, whatever it might be. But our season will be judged on those annoying little goals away at Brentford last minute. Don't concede the equaliser. Yeah, they're the moments we'll look back on, I feel, and think, that's why we didn't do that.
Yeah.
Do you think Enzo Maresca is getting the credit he deserves?
I don't know. It's tough to tell because I think because the table was so tight for so long, it really was just a sway of a result and you could be 10th.
I mean, it's still like that.
And maybe it's still like that. I haven't even checked because I'm just only looking up now. And that's a massive credit to him and the team because I think this has not been an easy situation to manage. You look at the red cards, the amount we've accumulated, you look at the injuries to key players, you look at the Club World Cup, the lack of pre-season. We had 2 games in the space of 4 days in pre-season, that was it. And on top of the fact that, like you said, he's still learning. And I've always said that he's in his first season managing in these many competitions, in Champions League on midweek, going to Premier League, rotating the team, the squad, having to manage the fitness and the workload of the Reese Jameses, the Wesley Fofanas, the Lavias, the Badia Shills. If we had players that were just fit as well, how much easier would his job be? So I think he deserves a lot of credit. And I think he's on a great trajectory in terms of his managerial career. Absolutely.
Yeah, would you agree with that, Jace, in terms of just like, it just feels like it. I mean, it feels like it's slow and steady, but it feels like that's what it needs to be right now. But it just feels like as the season goes on, it does feel like there is absolutely, undoubtedly progress. Like, and no one can sit there now and say that one, this is not a young and exciting team, and 2, that there isn't progress and Chelsea aren't closer to...
100% we are. Just going back to what Matisse was kind of touched on there, this is unprecedented that a manager has gone into a season with only 2 games before the season started. There was no pre-season. And he's having to navigate his way through that as well, the workload. I think he's getting most of those decisions right. The centre-half partnership, it literally, I think it's a flick of a coin. Who's going to be... Who's he going to pick this game? Yeah. Largely, he's getting the big decisions right. And he's still learning. He has made mistakes by his own admission. But where we are right now, Liv, no complaints.
This show is brought to you by our partners, talkSPORT Bet. New customers get an exclusive offer of £40 in free bets when you bet £10. Go to talksportbet.com/Inside Chelsea to claim this offer now. There's a couple of other players I want to talk about before we get into the week as a whole, the Barcelona game. Robert Sanchez, because we saw it at the Club World Cup, how brilliant he was, especially in the final, a couple of really, really good saves. I don't think he's put a foot wrong this season, Jace. Can you think of him putting a foot? Maybe the Man United mistake is probably the only one. But in terms of just being solid and being reliable and coming out and shot stopping, almost feels like we've got a whole new goalkeeper.
He's always been excellent shot stopper.
Yeah.
He's always had that. there were one or two Rick's decision-making, I felt, that he got wrong, the Man United game that we're talking about. But what I have noticed about his game, and this happened towards the end of last season, is that he will go longer when the ball at his feet. Because I felt he was almost duty-bound, I have to play short. And if the pass isn't on, he'll still try it. Now I think he feels though, if that pass isn't on, I am going to go long. And I think Maresca's encouraged that. I thought there were times at Newcastle away where Jackson got sent off. I felt we were going too long too often. I think Jackson was getting a little bit frustrated, hence the red card. But his decision-making to either play the ball in the midfield, play it to one of the fullbacks, or go long, he's getting them pretty much right every single time.
Yeah, his long-range passes have been brilliant to see this season because...
Starting PSG as well.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. And I think what I was really impressed with in this game is his cross-collection. We knew Arsenal were going to obviously have the corners, the set pieces, the free kicks, and he comes and claims the crosses. And I grew up on Cech and Courtois, and even Cudicini was brilliant. You need your goalkeeper to take the pressure off the defenders and just say, I'm going to come and get this. And now, we're not seeing so much him punching it or just, pushing it back into danger zones, which he used to do. He's actually just collecting it. And then he's doing those quick throws out for counters, which was such a tempo setter as well. It's almost like what you'd want from the back line or the midfield. Just, we are going to counter. I'm telling you now, we're countering, guys. And he just kept pushing it, which was great to see as well. And I thought we defended corners in this game brilliantly. We left the two up front. We spoke about that a few weeks ago as well. We left the box kind of a little bit empty. So Arsenal players were clear in sight and he would come and claim those as well. And I have to give massive praise to the centre-backs as well, Fofana and Chalobah. Chalobah's goal and Fofana, since he's come back from injury, has been fantastic. So I think that the whole defence, including him, we're starting to see that form we saw at the back end of last season, Club World Cup. Then it disappeared at the start of the season, loads of errors, and we're starting to get back to that defensive kind of level again, I think.
I want to ask a question about the defence in a second, but just on Sanchez, where do you think this turnaround, how has this turnaround happened? Is it just a confidence thing? Was it the Club World Cup? Did that have a huge part to play? Because, like I say, he hasn't really put a foot wrong, but there has definitely been a change in him. So where do you think that change has come from?
If you remember last season, Maresca made a comment about if he doesn't play the ball short, he's not going to be in the team, right?
Yeah.
And I think that probably on reflection, I think Maresca will regret saying that because it was so public. And he's always saying, if you don't play that ball short, and I've always said this, goalkeepers, they are technically the worst player on the pitch, yet they're asked to make the riskiest passes in those areas where if you give the ball away, chances are you're going to concede. I think it's as simple as that, Liv. I think the decision-making, he's allowed him to go long. He's allowed him now. If you play that ball in there, and we might get it nicked, I don't want you to play it now. I want the other options. But largely, even to balls to feet, he gets them right. And I think that has been absolutely crucial.
Yeah, maybe that is it, because if I was a goalkeeper, I wouldn't want to hear that we have to go short. I'd be panicking.
Sometimes the pass isn't on.
It's not on, and it's not on.
You can't play it.
And I think you have to give your player that kind of level of responsibility to make that decision himself. You as a manager, you may have your own ethos, your own methodology, whatever. At the end of the day, that player and every player on that pitch is making decisions for themselves, largely when they're out there, because they can see the picture, they can see the pitch, and he can see everything in front of him. If I'm him and I'm seeing these options, and I know how incredibly well drilled these presses are from other teams in the Premier League, I want the option to go long because his long range passing is good, and we need to. It's more on us to make sure we have the profile of striker up front to hold the ball up and to win headers so he can do what he wants to do, as opposed to not having that type of striker, maybe Jackson, who couldn't compete against Newcastle and had to throw his elbows in. That's our fault. That's not Sanchez's fault that we can't go long. So.
And do you feel like, I feel like there was parts of last season where you probably some Chelsea fans were going into games maybe worried that he was going to make a mistake. That's all been eradicated. I don't think Chelsea fans going into games now expecting Sanchez to make a mistake. He seems to have cut out errors completely from his game.
There's a confidence about him now. And I think the fact that we now, certainly on set pieces, allow him to come through traffic, but also he can set up attacks. The amount of times he got that ball, bowled out looking for Pedro Neto every single time. He can be a real catalyst for setting those up. His all-round game has improved dramatically. Ball in hands, ball at feet.
Yeah. Same fixture, he gave the ball away to Rice.
Yeah.
From that point to now, he's come a long way. Long way.
Yeah, he has. And Robert Sanchez deserves a whole lot of credit for the goalkeeper he is now. We've mentioned the defence a little bit. We've given our credit to Wesley Fofana and Trevor Chalobah. Jace, is that our best centre-back partnership?
Well, Levi is still injured. I think we probably say yes, but because there's so many competitions and, Badia Shield gives us a little bit more flexibility because he's left-footed. With Cardiff coming up, we've still got to go away in Europe. I think you'll still see rotation, but Chalobah and Fofana yesterday, wow, they were on it. Those boys were up for it. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Chalobah. I mean, I feel like we know how good Fofana is, and we've seen it because we've seen it when he comes back from injury. He's always brilliant, albeit he does get injured a lot, so we haven't seen it as much as we'd have liked.
Yeah.
I feel like Chalobah's a sort of player that maybe doesn't get the respect he deserves, and actually he's been completely solid in there this season.
Yeah.
And I think he's Enzo Maresca's probably common denominator here. It's usually Chalobah and maybe one other.
Yeah, I think him and Tosin were struggling at the start of the season. You look at the Fulham games, you look at the Man United games, Bayern Munich, there's probably others, Palace maybe, I'm not sure, but as the season's gone on, he's got stronger.
Yeah.
He's got stronger, and he's broken those two apart really as well. Those two kind of had to play. Fofana wasn't there, Badia Shield wasn't there. Josh was maybe not getting the minutes. He played really well against Palace, against Mateta, but he's not really ever played consistently. He's just said, right, I'm separating you two. It's like two chatty kids at the back of the class. I'm taking you two, putting you to the side, and we're going to pair you with others. And I think since he's done that, Chalobah's stepped up in the partnerships. There's always going to be rotation because I think Fofana's always going to get rotated. Badia Shield's always going to get rotated. So we're forced into it. But recently, we've kept a lot of clean sheets. And now when you look at us statistically, I'm sure on goals, chances created, clean sheets, we're actually just exactly where we belong to be in the top three in the table. So it's really good. Yeah.
Obviously, one centre-back that, anytime he's played, we've been like, he's the best centre-back on the pitch. And then suddenly we haven't seen a lot of Josh Acheampong. No. Why do you think that is, Jace?
Difficult to say. The fact that he's still 19, maybe there's an element of that. Slowly, he'll bleed him into the team. He hasn't let anyone down. He has been stellar. Yeah. And I cannot wait to see what this boy's going to look like in 5 years' time. When he develops into the man, physically, mentally. We have got an absolute, seriously, a serious centre-half in our hands. Yeah. However, I think it is still a little bit of that from Maresca. Centre-half is a very, very responsible position, and you can sometimes see players emerge in wider areas, like you've seen with Estevao. But centre-half, it's very rare you get in the Premier League a teenager playing. It's not often you get that at all. So I think there may be an element of that. Plus this competition for places, Liv. It's so fierce. I mean, he's got Fofana who played, 60, 70 million for him. In England, it's national against Chalobah. They're fiercely competitive in there.
Yeah. I think he's for me, there's a guaranteed level that he's going to get to in terms of his quality in the future. He's just ridiculous. I think he's one of those talents that you can just see it. Every time he's gone on the pitch, he's just asserted himself, his ball carrying, his positional versatility as well. He's played left back, he's played centre mid, he's played right back, Conference League centre back. So he's not Reese James in that way, but in terms of positional versatility and responsibility, he's actually taken on a lot already in his career.
Talking of teenagers that you can just see it, we can't not talk about because it's been a little while, about a week since that Barcelona performance. But what a performance, Jace, and what a goal that was from Estevao.
Yeah, I mean, just going back to what we were saying about Josh, I think Maresca's handled Estevao very well.
Yeah.
Chelsea fans are coming to me and saying, when's he going to start? And I'm like, well, look, I think at the moment he's doing very well. Excuse me. But then he gave him his wings, go and fly. Play against Barcelona, gave him that opportunity. The fact that we didn't have a centre forward, or the fact that they play a high line and he wanted to play Pedro Neto, actually the personnel, it made sense to play him. Because we want to go Pedro Neto down the middle because of the pace. You've got Garnacho one side, play Steve there. And now he's earned now he's earned his place in this team.
Were you surprised to see him start against Arsenal? Because we were sat here going, we're not quite sure whether he's going to start, and it wouldn't surprise us if he didn't start.
No. Yeah.
But then he did start.
Yeah, the fact that he started against Barcelona and did what he did.
He had to start against Arsenal.
For me, he had to start. And I think then that it become a problem for Garnacho because Pedro Neto then goes and plays. So Pedro's got to start.
Yeah.
The fact that we then went for another centre forward in João Pedro frees up that space to allow him to do that. But look, you can't complain with the way Maresca's handled it. I think.
No, he's a special kid, and I think he got Calafiori subbed. Because Calafiori couldn't deal with him. He probably could have scored against Arsenal. He did have that chance, that big chance on his right foot. I think if it landed on his left, it probably would have been a goal.
Yeah.
But And I think Maresca probably made the right decision when we went down 10 men at half-time to bring Estevao off. But again, he was causing problems all that half against Arsenal. And I mean, we haven't even spoken about the goal, but the goal against Barcelona was just next level.
The goal's ridiculous to weave through those two players. And the big thing for me is when you watch him dribbling in that moment, he's using both feet. You get left-footed players sometimes because they're unicorns. They only use the left foot and they're very left-foot dominant and they don't use their right at all. They barely use it to stand up. But he is using his right foot to dribble. He's using his right foot to do cutbacks. He's using his right foot to shoot and roof it past Garcia, who, by the way, is a very highly rated goalkeeper in Spain. Player of the year, Espanyol, and now Barcelona. That was incredible to do that. And we all knew the build-up going into that game. Yamal, what's he going to do? Teenage kind of prodigies here. But yeah, Estevao stood up and he created so many other chances. He should have an assist in that game as well. I think Neto it was on the running behind. So yeah, this kid's special. And the fact that I come away from the Arsenal game thinking, you could have been better in terms of his final product, even though he still created so much chaos and so much opportunity, tells you just what level he's on. Because I'm not even grading him on a curve because of his age or anything. I'm just grading him on he's just going to be a top player.
I did feel for him the fact that he had to come off because if Maresca's going to make changes, I get it.
Yeah.
He's the youngest one there. But I did feel for him because he didn't deserve to get taken off.
No, he didn't. He actually had a really good first half. And what I love about him is that for someone that's, quite slight, there's not much of him, very rarely gets pushed off the ball. And like you say, when he's dribbling like that at speed, you can't get him off the ball.
I said, was it Mateta? It might have been Mateta. I can't remember. There was a challenge back at Stamford Bridge, second half against some team, where he's gone thundering into a player twice the size of him. No, he's not intimidated at all. He might be slight, but he can live with the physicality, definitely.
Yeah.
For sure.
A brilliant performance against Barcelona and a really good first half again against Arsenal. I think the sky's the limit. Jace, I remember you sat here saying we will get a clearer view on what Chelsea are after this week. Burnley away, won it. Barcelona at home, statement win. A 1-1 draw against Arsenal, down to 10 men for over an hour. So my question to you is, what are we?
We are a side that has always been, for my money, that can compete with any team on any given day. Consistency has to be the most important thing. If we go through the next 10 games and you want to see consistent performances, you want to see us create chances, you want to see us take those chances. What I don't want to see is go away to Leeds and first half put in a stink fest and we find ourselves 1-0 down. That could happen, right?
Yeah, well, James, we're all Chelsea fans. We all know that is a very, very high possibility, by the way.
I want to see us go away, and we dig in, and if it has to be 0-0 at half-time, it's 0-0. But consistently, we showed against Barcelona. Look, Burnley, we took care of business, right? Ruthless, take care of it, thank you very much, move on. Barcelona showed that we can compete at that level. Arsenal showed we compete at that level. That's what we want to see. We've got Leeds away. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, all of a sudden I'm going, do you know
trembling. Do you know, the exact phrase to describe this is said by Jose Mourinho, 13-14 season, little horse. Little horse. Like, that is what this team has shown so far, is that they can compete against the very best. They can upset. They can, kind of spoil the party. But they still have that little horse kind of tendency to them in terms of crunch point. Can they really go in the league all the way and win it? Or are they going to be just there or thereabouts, maybe nice, strong, high 70s, maybe 80 points, but that's not enough to win the league. You know that. So, points-wise, if you're looking at points progression, this team looks like it's going to improve on points and it's going to make progress. But that doesn't mean it's going to win the league. And that's the thing. No,
we are still 14-1. With talkSPORT bet to win the league. Arsenal 4-9, obviously, and City are 3-1. City are 3-1 because there's probably no team you want chasing you. Even though it did take a last-minute winner at home to Leeds for Manchester City, but we know what City are like in situations like this. But did the performance yesterday, Jace, show that maybe we can put up a fight for the title?
I don't see us putting up a fight for the title. What I do see, I think we can still be very competitive at that end of the table. When I say competitive, I mean we're in around second, third minimum. I don't think that we're quite ready. Little Horse is a great example. I don't think that we are as a team right here, right now, ready to challenge. But like I said, that performance tells me in 18 months' time, 12 months' time, I might see a team that is capable of being more consistent every single week.
I think that I would agree. I've never said Chelsea are in a title race. I don't think neither of us or any of us have said we're in a title race. But it is performances like that, Matisse, that show, one, how far that this team has come to put in a performance like that, and how other teams are now looking at us going, oh, actually, there's a team here.
Yeah.
There's something here in this team, which we weren't seeing before, but we are now seeing.
Absolutely. There's definitely something brewing, I think is the word. It's just, because Arsenal are up there, you want it to almost happen faster because you don't want to see the repercussions of us not being quite ready and what that looks like. But in terms of our own progress, there is definitely a sense that, like you said, next season, is that going to be the crescendo kind of, for Chelsea? I think this team, if they can get through that Christmas period, I might change my mind. I think that's the point. I've been here with Lampard. I've been here with Tuchel. Last season with Maresca. Chelsea are in and about top of the league or just off the top. Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and then mid-January, no one even wants to talk about it anymore. Everyone was just thinking about other competitions, and rightly so, because we've had a terrible, Christmas period. So if Chelsea can actually navigate December, that for me will prove more to me than even Arsenal. I think if Chelsea can navigate December with those fixtures and come out into the new year, minimum in this position, 6 points off or better off, then I might start to think, okay, this team has got something different about them. Because every other Chelsea team with Jorginho's, Kante's, they all fall in this period. It doesn't matter who it is, they all fall in this period.
That's what I mean, Jace. Like Matisse says, it's a huge if. It's a huge if, because we have seen this far too many times, and it all starts with that stupid game before Christmas. Every year it's either a Goodison away or a Villa away or this year it's a Newcastle away.
You beat Newcastle. Wow. Okay. Whoa.
Yes.
Now we might change our tone. You know what I mean? That's the kind of game, and it's going to be raining, or it's going to be windy, or it's going to be snowing. I don't know.
That's a 12:30 kickoff though, and I think you'd rather be playing Newcastle away at 12:30 rather than like an under the lights.
5:30.
Yeah. But it's a big if, Jace, because actually we've got 5 games before that.
Yep.
Before that Newcastle game.
This period, especially when you're in the Champions League and you're still in the Carabao Cup, this period is insane. And the squad is going to be lent on. It really is going to be lent on. And that's why this squad has been built for players to have suspensions, have injuries, come through this period. And I can't wait to see what rotation looks like. Yeah. Because how many games you got between now and
so we've got between
8.
We've got 1, 2, so we've got 6 up to Newcastle, then we've got Villa at home, haven't we, on the 27th, and then we have Bournemouth at home on the 30th. So that's.
And then I believe it's City.
Then it's City,
away.
City at the Etihad,
Yeah, so this period is huge.
Big month.
Yeah, it's a big month.
It is a big month, and we've seen Enzo Maresca make changes throughout. He's been making 6 changes for a Premier League game, 7 changes for a Champions League game. That's not going to change now, is it? Are we going to see even maybe more changes from Enzo Maresca, given how much that the players that maybe are a little bit more injury prone have played, especially over the last week or so?
Yeah, absolutely. There's going to be a lot of changes, I think. We've got to trust our squad. I think if you're going to have the influx of players coming in and, outgoing as we do a lot, you've got to make sure that when that's all said and done, there is no excuses. Like you said earlier, no one's going to feel sorry for us. Everyone's got a couple of injuries here or there. Yeah. We have spent the kind of money that dictates that we have to have enough players available to deal with the situation. Arsenal, they have the depth. They don't tend to talk about injuries either, and rightly so. So I think us two as the top 2, obviously City are there now as well, top 3. Yeah, you just have to get on with it. And I do trust our squad in terms of the quality behind certain positions, and I think then there's other positions where people need to prove themselves. Gittins has slowly been contributing more assists. Garnacho, kind of, in up and down, there's been some goals. Can he get more of an opportunity? He got an assist against Wolves. These guys are going to have to really come to the fore in Christmas, because we're going to need them.
I mean, you mentioned Mark Gue there. For that Leeds game, obviously at Ellen Road, we know what the atmosphere is going to be like. We know Leeds are going to be up for it. Would you start with Mark Gue, or would you probably go for someone like
to that.
You'd go to that.
I will go to that. Yeah,
why?
I'd start with him. I think he's further down the path.
A bit more of a handful.
Yeah, and I don't look. I've just talked about Mark Gue there. There's other players that need minutes, and at some point over this Christmas period, they'll get them. But for me, going away at Leeds, physical battle.
Yeah,
I would probably start Delap.
Delap should love that type of game. He should feed off it. He just has to focus on the football though.
We don't expect Palmer to start, do we?
No, I think he'll be on the bench.
Do you think that was a good decision from Maresca to leave?
Yeah, he couldn't really bring him on, could he?
No, not with 10 men.
Not in a game like that. That was a toughie.
If we were 1-1, 11 men probing, with the
You can
ball,
see
he
him
comes
coming
on. But with 10 men, all that running, no need.
Do you think it's more likely then he comes on against Leeds and then starts against Atalanta in the Champions League?
Could start against Bournemouth. You never know. Is that before that, I believe?
Oh, sorry.
On the weekend,
Sorry. So he comes off the bench against Leeds and then starts against Bournemouth and then probably starts against Atalanta,
hopefully.
maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, you don't want to take any risks. I'm sure the medical team will be very careful, but you want Cole Palmer starting as soon as possible because he's a game changer. If he comes on to this pitch and he starts playing even half of what he's capable of, boy.
You've not seen him and Steve together, have you?
I've forgotten what it's like to watch Cole Palmer play football. Like, that is our best player by some distance. Like, the levels to his game that we've seen since he's put on a Chelsea shirt. We've been robbed of it this season. And I know we've dealt so brilliantly without him. It's almost like, we're like, what? But now
Caicedo
he's
goes,
back.
Palmer returns. It's not bad.
No,
That's so annoying. Can't they just play together?
Palmer and
can't
Steve. That's what I want to see. Palmer and Estevao.
When do you think we're going to see Palmer and Steve?
Oh,
Bournemouth. Please.
maybe.
Bournemouth away?
Please, Bournemouth away.
Maybe.
I think that's the perfect ground. No disrespect to Bournemouth, but it's a nice place. Leeds isn't a nice place to go necessarily.
No,
it's going to be
true.
hostile. I think Bournemouth is a nice place to go. Is that a 3 o'clock kickoff? It's going to be hopefully be
It is
sunny.
a 3 o'clock
I think it
kickoff,
could be sunny. I haven't done a weather report. Estevao, Palmer in the sun at Bournemouth, seaside. Birds are chirping.
I feel like we don't
honestly.
actually. I feel like our record's not that good against Bournemouth away. Is it, or is it not?
I'm not
I feel
sure.
like we
Mixed.
always draw.
Mixed.
It's maybe
Yeah, the stink.
Brentford away is
The
always
4-0
nil-
or something.
They used to batter us every year. No, that was at Stamford Bridge though, not away.
Yeah.
And we will hopefully have a semi-final of the Carabao Cup to look forward to as well.
Yeah.
Coming into the new year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you expect him to go strong against Cardiff?
I think you'll see a mixture, I think you'll see a mixture. You talk about returning, that feels like the Cole Palmer game.
Caicedo has to
Caicedo
play that
game.
I can say that I think it'd be quite mixed actually.
Okay, so for our next two in the Premier League, Leeds away, Bournemouth away. 3 away games in a row now. What do you reckon, Jace? How do you see those two going?
Well, all of a sudden, after that performance, you feel we can go and take anyone on. But Leeds,
Leeds.
Leeds, dirty Leeds. we know what the history holds of this. They'll be right up for it.
100%.
Ellen Road is a tough place to go. Really, really tough place to go. And Bournemouth, as you mentioned, a little bit of that feels a bit... Come away from them with 4 points out of those two games.
Would you be happy with 4
4 points out which game?
I was going to say, he said that. Yeah, he said that, and then no, Matisse, he just said 4, and then realised within a millisecond what
Can we
he's
get a
just
shot on
said.
Jace?
No, I know.
No,
okay, 6.
Has to be 6. It has to be 6.
We have to keep winning.
Yeah.
We have to, because as much as Arsenal do look kind of inevitable in the way that they're going about things, you never know what's going to happen in the Premier League in regards to, just mentally for them.
They've got Villa away.
Exactly.
Villa are away in form.
We have to be ready to capitalise on any slip. We don't want to slip up and then see they slipped up and then it's just, we have to capitalise. So for me, it's got to be 6 points. It's
All
gonna
right,
be tough.
6 in.
It's going to be tough.
I'm glad we changed your mind, Jace. I'm glad that we changed your mind. Right, that's it for another episode of Inside Chelsea. We will be back in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you very much for your company. And of course, as always, thank you to Jason. Thank you to Matisse. We will see you next time. Up the Chels.